Hello, my name is Elsy González, and I'm a junior researcher for the Atlantic Future Project here in Mexico City at the Centro de Investigación y Docencia Económicas. I was the one in charge of doing the interviews for the project, for the Perspective project, back in September and October of 2014 in Mexico, Colombia, and Honduras. And one of my main takeaways from that was that, first of all, answers varied from country to country. So while Mexicans might have a very negative or ambiguous perspective of any relation with the EU, Hondurans were very positive, and Colombians, the answers were pretty mixed. In that sense, my second takeaway was that Colombians, the relationship they want from the EU is one of assistance in the peace process, and that was a general answer. Also maybe help developing their relationship in the Atlantic a bit more. But more than that, something that was a really interesting response from Colombians was that they were more concerned about developing their relationships in the Pacific. Answers that the Hondurans gave that were very interesting was they wanted more aid. They felt that the EU was ignoring them to an extent, but still they felt very positive about a relationship with them. And finally, Mexicans in general were skeptical of anything that the EU might be able to give to us, especially because in Mexico there was this feeling that the United States was much more influential and more important. In general, this was a generalized opinion in the three countries, but in Mexico it was a very explicit opinion. Another feeling that I got while I was doing the interviews is that they felt that even the ones that were negative and the ones that were positive, they felt that there could have been a lot more attention coming from the EU to these countries, and in general, there's this feeling that North America takes care of Latin America and Europe takes care of Africa. And they have this feeling that it shouldn't be that way. It should be more, everyone takes care of everyone. And also a feeling that Latin America, its merits and its development isn't really being considered. And I think that's something very important to improve on. I think it was very important that this be done, and this was something that a lot of interviewees said. They felt it was very important that they be asked their opinions, because you can do numbers and show graphs, and that might give you a generalized perspective. But leaders in different positions can tell you different things. So while you'd be surprised by how many Colombians would speak about their mining concerns, or Mexicans about, economic unrest, or Hondurans about a complete lack of aid, or how their economy is decreasing in comparison to their neighbors, that was a very interesting opinion. But I think something that informed a lot of the opinions as well was how they felt about themselves. So Mexicans feel very positive about Mexico, as a country, and how it fits in the world. Colombians are also very positive. They think we're becoming regional leaders. Whereas Hondurans, they don't feel it. They feel very negative about themselves, at least the ones we interviewed, and about their place in the world. They feel insignificant in the world. And I don't think that's something that should be fixed. In general, it was a very interesting project, and I'm really glad I had the opportunity to interview a lot of really interesting people for this project, and this is something that should definitely be repeated in more Latin American countries, and the EU should definitely consider involving different and more Latin American countries in its future projects. Thank you very much.